notice I'm playing octaves right now mostly because octaves on the piano generally have a really strong full sound and they represent that fundamental so well. So if I bang an octave, so the octave thing is great. It's great to be able to put your hand on that position without even really thinking about it. But it's also really important to be able to think kind of like a bass player in a sense, because you want to think about whether you're composing or improvising, how that line is moving. So if I'm playing something like simple chords like E minor to A minor, let's say, simplest thing. You don't just want to play the root, you want that to move a little bit, so maybe. Creates a lot of interest. This kind of thing also relates to creativity because not only do you want to be able to move your left hand, but you want to be able to think about the kind of lines that you're playing if you're improvising or if you're composing. There's so many different things that you can do with your left hand. They can get really interesting and really challenging as well. Sometimes in the middle of a Dream Theater song, I'll be playing like some kind of weird like ragtimers thing. So it means that the left hand may be jumping around a lot. And that's a very, very different skill. I'm sure many of you have seen pianists that are all of a sudden, you know, they're doing things where their hand is jumping and you're like, how the hell are they doing that? And it's really, really hard. You can find that example in classical music. There's a piece I used to play by Liszt. I haven't played it in years, but it starts off something like this. Left hand is moving, it's jumping. So to do that, it takes a certain headspace, right? Number one is you have to be comfortable jumping back and forth. So let's take a C major chord and play a C octave, jump to the second inversion, play G. Good exercise to just do that and maybe switch to an F chord. But how do you get your hand in that position just to get to it? Well, one of the ways is to really have your hand understand what's around it. And by that I mean, like when you put your hand down on the keyboard and I close my eyes, I can feel that like right now my hand is on the 3 black notes. And so I could find a C octave. If I go here, I can find the C chord with my eyes closed. And the reason I can do that is because I quickly assess where my hand is. So there's the assessment part of it by getting used to what happens physically under your hand, right? I got my eyes closed and I'm just doing this. So I'm quickly, my fingers happen to be landing on some of the black keys and they're giving me the instructions I need. Right? And I'm opening my eyes because I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Okay, but this is the idea. This is what you're going to get used to. And you want to practice this with your eyes open, and then you want to practice it with your eyes closed as well, even if you do it really slowly. Like, I'll be looking right at the camera, and I'll be playing a B flat, which I think that's B flat, and then feeling my way to a B flat major chord, and another one, and then jumping to B flat, and then trying to pick up speed just by the feel of it, right? Closing my eyes. So there's the feel, and then there's also getting used to the throw of it. By throw of it, I mean that very often your chord in this kind of style where you're going, you might be really going for some, notes that are far away, but I'll practice that throw. So I'll practice if I'm going from a C and then I'm hitting a C major chord and then I got to go down to an F really quick. That's hard, right? So first I'll do it with my eyes open, then I'll try closing my eyes and feel like, how far away is it, right? There you go. So you can tell I've been practicing this because I'm actually getting pretty good at it, which is good because I've been working on it a long time and really trying to make that happen. Because it not only applies in the left hand, although this style is very much of a jumping kind of a style, you know. So that kind of thing really helps. But in the right hand, you have to think about it as well. We'll talk more about right hand in a little while. But what I mean is if you're playing something and your right hand has to jump to all these notes that are far away, that's also challenging because it's out of your position. It'd be like playing a guitar and you're in a particular position and all of a sudden you got to reach out of it and get somewhere else. Well, this is the same kind of idea. Easiest to play things that are in position, but always important to play things that are out of position. So as a keyboard player, as a pianist, having a left hand that is in many ways equal to the right hand is so important, especially because the left hand can function in different ways than the right hand. Generally, the left hand is going to be playing the lower register, which means it has a different kind of job to do in a musical context. So not only playing things that are kind of equal or technically the same as what happens in the right hand, which are great to do, but also to develop those techniques like we spoke of that allow the left hand to kind of be its own mind, if you will, to cover the musical ground that generally happens like from this part of the keyboard to this part of the keyboard, although certainly you could do this, and that's totally acceptable. Very, very important to have a left hand. And again, for me, it's important not only just as a pianist to be able to do things like that, but also to be able to write music and create, and to write bass parts, and to be able to write counterpoint. You know, when I see somebody playing with one hand or whatever, I'm like, oh man, I wish they would really take the time and develop their, you know, mind-to-hand musical messaging to their left hand as well as their right hand.